Sorry. You mentioned that your company is the only one that offers this type of solution so far in the country. What has kept the competitors that do this from providing like a cloud-backed solution or something to eliminate some of these, seems like obvious things?
It's, you know, that's mind-boggling to me too. We started this with Little Rock PD since we already furnished that equipment in their vehicles. We created a software, and we do not charge the police departments any money. It does not cost them anything. It overlays on their existing system from an email and a text. And to answer your question, we don't know. We've had contact with other security companies asking about it, even thinking about purchasing it. But we are so new, and we want to make Little Rock and Central Arkansas go first because we owe that debt to them, I feel.
So Steve took half of my question.
Okay.
So great minds think alike. So high resolution alone isn't a sustainable competitive advantage. 4K cameras are commercially available. So what do you think what do you think is unique about your offering versus that of, no other competitors? Well,
what's unique is actually we have the direct connect to the police department. And I didn't go into a lot of detail, but it also does like the petty theft, shoplifting, and everything right now. Little Rock PD has 5 officers full-time, and they're on a 5-day backlog to respond to shoplifting charges. So they have to go out there, look at the customer's DVR and everything like that, but with our camera, all the customer has to do is push their button, their wireless key fob, call 911, because you still have to call 911, and say, hey, we were shoplifted yesterday at 1:35. Push the button, it opens the gateway for the police to look at it. And the videos are all lined out by time. So it's in a web portal. So they'll go to 1:35, click on it. They can either download the video or play it. That's the 2 options. And it saves them a trip from going out there to the customer site to do that. So we offer more of efficiency for not only the police departments, but also for businesses as well,
And my last question, $45 a month, is that per camera or per account?
That's per account, per location, let's say that, because you're bringing all that video from one location to the other, so yes.
Anybody else? I'm sure our visitors from Episcopal School have some kind of question this morning. No? You have one? Okay.
What initially inspired you to start doing this?
It's kind of a long story, but I'll make it short. I worked in Alltel and Verizon for about 6 years, and I was a sales rep, and that's all I sold was data. But prior lifetime to that, I sold hub switches and routers in the networking world. So bringing this all together, I left Verizon after they did the acquisition, went to go work for a customer, and the head data guy goes, we have cellular modems. We don't know who we're going to buy them from. We do not resell them, so we sell high-end routers. So that started my business doing that. But then I named the business Cellular Data Solutions because we wanted to do more custom solutions like what we're doing today. And it just so happens my wife's an attorney, so I kept on. She worked at night at home, and I kept on playing Wii with my kids, and I got tired of beating my kids in Wii. So I said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and start this company as a hobby. And I did that for a year. Then I quit my real job and started doing it for the past 5 years. So that's how it goes. And it's mainly all these solutions are requested by the customer. So that's a big, I guess, a big incentive to help them out. So.
What's next? You've helped the police departments. Where do you see it going from here? What other applications do you have for this technology?
Well, my plate is full right now. I really can't take any more solutions. I mean, we have done past solutions with Children's Hospital, Baptist Health, Saline Memorial with ambulances. We made them a Wi-Fi hotspot. So if there's a wreck out here on the street, we partnered with some of the equipment manufacturers that do the defib and all that, all the equipment. So if somebody has a wreck out here and they bring all this equipment with vital signs, we've created a solution where it will mesh with theirs, and its real-time vitals will go straight to the hospital before they get put in the ambulance. I mean, it's my plate is so full with all these solutions and the demand. It seems like all these solutions are hitting at the same time. So I'm kind of sticking to this right now until I get more people to work for me. So.
Did you build your own internal cloud, or did you latch onto a public service?
We use the Microsoft Cloud. I have a developer in Conway who's one of my employees and a developer in Jonesboro, and he has his own server firm, and I believe he uses Microsoft.
Of course, I'm going to ask the technical photography question. How does it perform in low light situations? How's the resolution and the image quality in that?
It's actually really good. It has IR built into it, so it does work in low lights. And with our experience with the hog traps, when they're out in the field, you know, they come at night. They're pretty much, and we actually add enhanced IRs to the video, so it works well. And we've actually partnered with a company, Bull Creek out of Beebe, which is a hog trap hunting manufacturing for blinds, and they use our equipment on all their traps. So, and our traps are, you know, I mean, our solution on the hog traps is universal, so it fits any trap. It's mainly just we got to match the latch to the gate to bring it down. All right.
Yeah, here you go.
Since we have a group of special guests this morning from the Episcopal School, we don't typically have students in the room. So I'm just curious, as an entrepreneur, what you would say to young aspiring entrepreneurs. Is this something that you, obviously you do think it's viable, but like what piece of advice could you give them as far as being at this very early stage in life and thinking about entrepreneurship?
Well, okay, it's interesting you say that, because I was in Chicago 2 weeks ago and I had a meeting with the vice president of a big company, and they use internships for college and everything like that. From an entrepreneurial perspective, if you have a dream, follow it. If you have an ideal, follow it. The one thing that they have problems with, though, with college kids and their internships is everybody is so used to texting, email, and they use these for their salespeople. He goes, our sales have been down in such a down decline in the past 8 years that they've lost the communication skills to talk to somebody in a sales thing. So I would say, from advice not from an entrepreneurship, but from in the future, work on your communication skills, because sales is always face-to-face, on the phone, or you're going to be talking. It's not really text or email, but always have that communication and let yourself out there and let them see who you are. So, but as an entrepreneur, follow your dreams. I mean, they're there, you know. I mean, you just got to get out there and grab it.
Chuck, I know we appreciate the sales comment and getting on the phone. Jessica and I always talk about how many entrepreneurs we see every year that you say, hey, why don't you just call them? And they start sweating. They're scared to death.
Right.
And they'll say, you know what, though, I sent them 5 emails. Well, that is not the same as picking up the phone and making a phone call.
It's not.
So that's really great advice. Talk to us about some of the biggest challenges you've had in starting this business.
Man, it's funny. When I first started this business, I had roadblock after roadblock after roadblock, and you just got to come over those roadblocks, keep your head high. I had zero capital, but then I pushed the product anyway, so I got a $20,000 purchase order, and I'm like, oh, man, how am I going to purchase this? I've already got the order and everything. And I worked actually with a good friend of mine. We got it settled, did loans from the bank. That was the biggest obstacle terrifying of sitting on a PO for a week saying, every day, woke up, how am I going to purchase this product? How am I going to purchase this product? That is probably the biggest obstacle that really stepped out to my mind. Going for this crime cam is a big obstacle. I mean, talking to police departments, showing them how it works. I ran into roadblocks with city attorneys, with liability, with terms and conditions. I just had to overcome those obstacles. It's just one thing. Your general business of doing business there's always obstacles.
So kind of block and tackle, right?
Yeah.
Talk to us about the evolution of the product. So I'm assuming you hadn't built a company that had software or hardware before. You had to go, what was the process of figuring out how to get the technology built?
Well, first we had to build the software for that would communicate with the police computers. We had to open up a port on their side to accept our notifications. So that was actually an obstacle there, and we got past that. As in future development, the hog camera we're doing in the prison, we're doing thermal. That's going to be our next phase in 3 months. It's not going to be cross-line detection. It's actually going to be thermal, and we can determine if it's a deer or a person, so they won't get a notification if a deer walks up. So we are moving in that way of enhancing our products. As far as the crime cam, we only have one. This is so new. We have one solution out right now, and it's at the Fringe in downtown Little Rock. And we're looking to really hit the streets here in the next week or two to get out this and push it out. It won't work if a customer doesn't have it in their store. I mean, that's just it. We got to have it. With the police departments are behind us here in Central Arkansas. State police, UALR's going to sign with us probably here in the next week or two. There's a lot of crime that goes on right there at the South University side, on the west side of South University. 50% of the time the crime happens, they run across that university and they're on UALR campus. So UALR wants to have that notification so they know what the people look like coming across their campus. They're also looking at putting this camera in their bookstores and into their cafeteria.
To build off her question, so in the case of a power outage, would your camera be able to not just see but identify a suspect when it's dark inside the store?
It will, yes, because we got infrared built into it, so it kind of eliminates the dark into more of a lighted area, so you can do that. And we have a 4-hour backup battery in that if the power is cut. And also from an internet connection, we have cellular redundancy. If we're not tied into the customer's network, internet network, we have failover for cellular, so we do have a connection to it.
So you said that a press of a button will give access to police force to access the feed. How long after the press of a button will police have the access to the feed? Like how long after?
It's like a text message and an email, so it's sent immediately.
So they get the link, they watch it. How till when they can keep watching it? From after the incident, will they have access to watch it all the time?
They do. They do. It's back when that customer pushes that button, it opens the gateway for the police. The police can't just go in and look at somebody's cameras without the button being police. We have to protect the business. So when they push that button, the customer opens up their portal for the camera, and they can review, do everything that they want to. They can live view into that camera unlimited. So.
Follow up to the power outage. That's a great question, by the way. But all of them have been good questions. The power outage, will I be notified as a customer of yours that my power's out if I'm not notified through Entergy?
No, you won't be. You won't be. It's just the camera sits up and comes back.
Okay.
That sounds like an add-on feature, though.
It does sound like an add-on feature. I'll take note of that.
For some alerts.
I'll take note of that.
So, Chuck, looking back, what is something that you wish you would have done differently now that you have this experience?
It's I don't know. I mean, marketing. I mean, you look at marketing, how to get yourself out there more. That's a good question. It's an ongoing. You learn from your mistakes and everything like that. I just really don't know. I like the direction that I'm going. Like I said, all the solutions that we offer are customer driven. They brought the ideals to us. So I guess it would probably be more marketing, how to get in there. I'm trying to find that niche. I've used Arkansas Business. I used radio. I had TV, and out of my experience with those, the more cost effective probably would have been the Arkansas Democrat Gazette. Yeah. I mean, that was a free story.
So the customers came to you with this idea, but you spent a lot of time working with the police departments and all these different folks. What is your vision now for what this thing can grow up to be?
You know, I take it a day at a time. So my vision is obviously, it's the dream that keeps an entrepreneurial going. And so I look for new sales every day. That's my goal for being in sales. You know, we've got great forecast coming up in the next 3 months. So I'm looking to grow the business. I would love to have employees, marketing, everything like that to come all into one. And that would be my overall goal. But yeah, that's mainly it. Sorry.
It's all right. So is the vision like a camera in every store?
I would love to have a camera in every store. The solution, you know, like I said, we got to get it in the stores to really make the solution work.
And you said you've got a background in data, so is there an opportunity to do some analytics to check, you know, feeds from multiple different camera sites or anything like the what was the Tom Cruise movie where they're predicting the crime in the future?
Right.
I mean, you would have a massive amount of data, and I would imagine you could do some really interesting things with that.
We do. I mean, we're actually working on that today. You see the cameras all on the freeways. We actually provide the communications equipment for that. We put the cellular modems in it, and it's all cellular data. They are working on here in Little Rock on somewhat of a network operating center so they can view all that. Say somebody robs a store across the street and they say, okay, it's a white Lexus, 4-door Lexus. They will be able to track that car as they go through around town through the cameras at the network operating center. Same situation with the message board signs. We haven't really seen those message board signs work, but we provide the communication equipments to that. Say there's a wreck on 630 and there's not enough room to build more roads or widen the roads. I mean, they're running out of real estate. But eventually they say, okay, wreck on 630, we're shutting it down, and they'll put on the message board, take exit 2 and use the service road and then get back on exit 5. That's what they're eventually going to do, and that's down the road. I don't know what's holding them up, but the technology is there.
Similar to what he was just asking, do you ever see it moving into the consumer, personal, individual market space for houses?
I do. I do. Actually, Maumelle, we've talked about that. We want to get this off the ground first. We've been approached with schools for active shooters, so they can live view into those cameras too, and we can do that as well. But right now we are looking into that, and that's probably 12 to 18 months out.
So there was a whole list of people that we might be able to connect you to. Can you tell us a little bit more specifically what you're looking for with those connections?
Right. You know, from a robbery standpoint, the people that usually do the armed robberies, it's not their first rodeo. So it's always repeated. And if we could stop that one first-time robbery, hey, we can cut down the crime rate. Now, the stores that that get robbed are Dollar Generals, fast food restaurants, anything with a standalone cash register with the storefront, fast food, banks, robbery. I mean, it goes on and on. Those are my main target areas: is the convenience stores, the liquor stores, discount stores. That one thing. I mean, Dollar General gets robbed. We are actually talking to Dollar General right now to put our camera in their solution here in Central Arkansas, and there's 85 stores. So just from a perspective of the ideal customer would be any of those. That's who we're looking for. Who has a history of robberies, armed robberies, that would be ideal too. The police would like to put it everywhere, but they don't pay the bill. They you know, so that's what they would like. They would like to have a more hands-on approach. So.
And then, sorry, my follow-up is, if there's one specific thing that all of us could try and do to help you grow, what would that be?
You know, my biggest challenge in selling this solution, I've only done it for probably about a couple of weeks, is I go to a convenience store that recently been robbed. I'm talking to the low-end employee and trying to help me connect to the higher end, the decision makers. They all like it. I mean, I've been to Family Dollar and talked to the employees. They're like, man, we've got to have this. They hook me up to the regional director, and it just kind of fizzles out there. If you have any connections in that space, that would be great.
Chuck, as you look at these different segments, are you thinking about distribution partners that you could sign instead of going to the consumer directly?
We are. We actually were thinking about doing that in the Memphis and Atlanta area because of the security license and the liability. Is we're going to have probably an exclusive distributor in those areas where they'll go out and push the product. But yes, I'm totally open to that, to expand my sales force. And yeah, I'm very open to that.
Yeah, because all of these already have vendors that are selling product in there. And so if you could sign with them, you could get some scale.
That's a great idea. I never thought of that. Thank you.
But you have to go get the police department first, right?
That is correct.
Like in Jacksonville, first you have to get the police department on board first and then sell the emergency.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
That's
Do you
what.
have that rollout plan for the additional police department?
I do. We right now we're right here in Central Arkansas. Like I said, we have talked to Memphis and Atlanta, but I kind of put the brakes on that just to get this market going.
Could you go into the privacy department of your product so that business owners don't feel like they're constantly being watched, or the video that's stored for 30 days isn't being sold to a third party or viewed by someone or police in a way that they don't want to be watched?
Yes, like I said, they have to push the button to open the gateway to see the video. In the terms and conditions with both the police departments and to protect us and the customer, they cannot, we have it outlined very well. There's only two things for the police department that they want from our terms and conditions. Number one is the customer still has to dial 911. If a bank gets robbed today, they still have to dial 911. The second is they accept our notifications. So if a button gets pushed, they agree to accept our notifications. Now, from a privacy standpoint, we keep everything private. It's funny that some of the police departments that we talk to, they want, once that customer pushes that button, they want their video locked down, and that's police evidence. They don't want even the retailer or anybody to have that. But since we've had the ongoing discussions, Mall Mail was actually wanting to do that. Now they've changed their tune. They want it to, hey, this is the customer's video. They own it. They get to do whatever they want to. So it's theirs, it's private, and it's secure. Does that answer your question? So.
Let me just say, that was a very informal question.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that was good. That was good.
Hey, I'm on Snapchat.
That's funny.
If money wasn't an obstacle, what advancement would you make to your product?
I'm sorry?
If money wasn't an obstacle, what advancement would you make to your product?
What advancement I would do to it?
Like upgrade or just to make it better?
You know, I would probably donate a lot to get people out there. I do have some friends that are in the retail business. Actually, my niece owns the Fringe, and we donated that to her. And they've had actually a couple instances where they had to push the button. And the Little Rock PD got there. They had there was minimal, I guess, discussion of, okay, my niece wasn't there, but she had her I can't remember the girl's name, but it wasn't the manager of the store. It was only a girl that's only been there for like 2 weeks. Police had all the information they needed from that pushing the button. They got in touch with Kendall, my niece. They talked about it. They had the video of everything, and that was it. I mean, it was seamless. It cut their time down from an investigative standpoint. They said more than fivefold of, hey, we got everything here. We're good. Here's the report, sign, and go. As far as money wasn't an obstacle, I'd probably donate it, you know, and let it get out there. Our crime rate has gotten so bad lately that we're talking about putting signs in front of people that do have this, so maybe it'll be a deterrent. We're just trying to deter crime and help out the businesses as well as the local police departments.
How accessible is the video footage for the business owner? Like,
how successful is what?
How accessible is the footage for like the business owners? Do you have an app that they can view their own storefront and all that, or?
It is very accessible. It's on a web portal, so they just have a login and password, and whatever stores they have, it all comes up on one screen. And if they want to see something, either recorded video or live video, they just click on the page, and they can see the live. But they can go into the store and into the cloud and see all the recorded videos. So it's very accessible to them. Username and password protected.
Is there a way for the police to see how serious the crime is, like before looking at the video, so that if there is another crime going on, they could prioritize?
Whatever alert notification they do get, we call it the police alert notification, the one that came up, they get that recorded video. So they will have the last 30 seconds to a minute. That's the only thing that they will have just to identify the suspects. But then they have the link to live view into it. As far as priority, it's just going to be, say if there's 3 businesses that get robbed all the same time, they're going to be in different areas. Our solution on the software side, every police officer doesn't work 24/7. So we have created I should have mentioned this earlier, we have created a calendar for the police departments to say, okay, Bob works Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. Mike works 5 to 11. So they will receive the notifications when that time occurs, when that button's pushed. Again, when they push that button, they can go through all the videos. But to answer your question about priority and everything like that, it'll be 3 text messages, 3 emails, and then whatever they look at would be their discretion, what's priority and what's not, if that makes sense.
Chuck, what about connecting to legacy systems? And we can use this building as an example. It's brand new. There's security cameras all over the place. They do go to some cloud repository, somewhere, but it's very limited in that you can't add any functionality on top of it. So there's no panic button. There's no image recognition for somebody displayed a gun, ping the cop automatically. What's the opportunity there? 60 days, that will be available. That's what we're working on next. We can tie into legacy systems. We're going through testing now. Now the difference is matching the 2 networks. They are compatible with the two systems, because there is some cameras are proprietary where they use their own software, but that is coming down the pipe. We should explore using this facility then as a test.
Would love to. Would love to.
Cool.
All right, any more questions? There were a lot. Mike, me. Okay, this is where, thanks Chuck.
Hey, thank you.
Another round of applause.
Appreciate it.
Okay, everyone has one of these cards in front of you, and this is where we ask the audience, do you know someone that Chuck needs to know? Or are you the person that Chuck needs to know? So we've already heard who he needs to meet: store owners, banks, hotels, motels, restaurants, anyone with a street-facing brick-and-mortar store. Use these cards. You can connect the presenter to, that's the first line, whoever you can connect the presenter to. Write their name there. I don't need their contact information, I just need their name. And then you put your contact information down here. Just give me an email address, and then I will connect you to Chuck via email, and then you will connect him to the person you said you could. Too many things?
Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it.
All right. Next week, we've got Martial Trigot with the ASB TDC, and he'll be here to talk about anyone that may be interested in starting a small business. And get your tickets. There's still time to get tickets to the Little Rock Tech Fest as well as Jolt. You can go to these websites to get more information. Paul's here. He could talk to you about the Tech Fest if you have any interest in that. Jessica could talk to you about Jolt as well as Chris. Lee?
I'm just wondering if there's an Episcopal team registered for Jolt.
Ooh, that is a good question. We're looking at you. Yeah, we'll talk. Yes. Oh, and Pitch and Pint. If you've ever been, it's a blast. It takes place on November 30th. Pitch and Pint. We meet over at the Flying Saucer. The location may change. We'll get more information on that. But anyone that attends, if you've got a 1-minute pitch you'd like to give, you just show up, give a 1-minute pitch. There's a panel. It's a lot of fun. We'll have more information on that. Again, next week, ASB TDC will be here. Register for Jolt, register for Tech Fest, and we'll see you next week. Except Jess has more. Yes.
I'm putting Paul on the spot. But Paul, if you would come up here for just a second. I don't know if you guys are aware, but there are a ton of fantastic tech-focused meetups that have been happening lately, and Paul actually is hosting one here tonight. So I thought maybe I'd give you an opportunity to talk about what that is for just a sec.
So tonight we're going to be talking about everything Agile. So if you've heard of Agile, you want to learn about Agile, it's going to be crowd-driven, it's crowd-sourced essentially, so the topics will be based upon what you want to come and talk about, which is kind of cool, so you can participate in that way. It's not going to be someone lecturing about Agile. And so the idea is for us to come together and learn about Agile together, and that's pretty much it. So there'll be food and drinks, like water basically, there's nothing fancy. And I think it's going to be pizza tonight. I don't know, I don't have a lot of time to get that organized. So at any rate, come out, have a piece of pizza, have a bottle of water, and let's talk about some Agile stuff. Maybe you're working with it in your work today. Maybe you want to learn about it so you can do it at your work today. Or maybe you just want to come and learn about some cool stuff. So love to have you out.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give Paul a little love for being willing to do that on the spot. And there's also, because again, there are a ton of things happening, there's also an R group. And their very first meeting happens to be tonight up on the second floor. So maybe you're not an Agile junkie, but you are an R enthusiast. You can R, is that a thing? I don't know. Anyhow, does anyone know what, besides a letter of the alphabet? Yeah. Not R, but R. Mm-hmm. Did you catch that? If you are a statistical analysis data science nerd.
Hashtag big data.
Yeah, big data. And maybe you like to say R. Yes, data of any size, we don't discriminate, right? So, okay, so can we also give a little love to Ashley? Because she did this morning. She did a great job. All right, I'm gonna let you wrap it up. Oh, it is wrapped. Thank you.